Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Press Play. I'm your host, JJ48, and tonight we are making progress in Zelda Four Swords because this week I have been doing a little behind the scenes playing of the game to try to get through the levels we've been having some trouble with, and I am going to start with some video footage. Now, I am not going to be playing all the footage. I'm going to be skipping through it a little bit, but I do want to show some areas just to kind of show what I've been working on. So, first item was the Heroes Trial stage that we've tried a few weeks now and have gotten pretty close, but haven't quite managed to beat it. Hopefully, let's see, is the audio coming through? Let me see if looks like it should be coming through on the stream, but it's not monitoring for me, so there we go. Okay, so we've seen this a few times. My strategy this time was pretty much just kind of take it slow, um, try not to try to not waste my lives as much as possible, and hold on to any upgrades for as long as I could, and any of the jewels or crystals. And so we've seen the first two levels quite a bit. Remembered to use my shield properly against these guys and had a little bit of an easier time. Um, Mainly uh, tried not to get too impatient with them and um, go try to grab more than I could. They don't stay flipped over for long, and decided to just work with that instead of grabbing everything and getting hit in the process. Uh, let's see, jumping up ahead a little bit. Um, these guys had a bow, decided to go ahead and use it and take out enemies a little bit safely. Against the Stalfos in general, the ones that throw the bones, I was trying to be a little bit more cautious and did a lot more just blocking their shots and waiting until um, waiting until things were safe to try to move around rather than always trying to get hits in wherever. So I basically prioritized defense and dodging over offense most of the time. There were a couple times where I still got impatient, but um, in general was doing that and having a bit more success. Let's okay. Let's skip ahead a little bit here. Uh, so coming up is the do the magnet part, and then there's kind of that gauntlet where it's just a kind of a miserable bunch of enemies, a bunch of the freeze wizards and I think it's the freeze wizards or their wizrobes and the ball and chain guy. So Keith being a little bit more of an annoyance than usual. Take a moment trying to remember how I'm going here, and then manage to make it. It's like, oh yeah, this way. And here's where here's where we fight the gauntlet, and I think it went decently well here. Finding out the opening of the moblins was a little bit of a help. Managed to get a safe spot to help take these things' masks off, and most of the moblins ended up in pits. Just figured just taking them out without taking much damage was more important than trying to guarantee that I got every last rupee out of them. And here's the Wizrobes and the ball and chain guy. I remembered the Wizrobes attack pattern a little better. I think I only get hit once or twice. It's a little bit irritating because of course we have them coming from all sides, so it can be tough to hit ice from multiple directions. But I think eventually I just run off the side there. But once we take out a couple of the Wizrobes, then the rest of them start being much easier to dodge and go down even quicker. Of course, they also sometimes have the irritating habit of appearing over pits, which makes them hard to get at, but and things were going pretty well there. So let's see. Going ahead a little bit further. Okay, this area. This was another area where we had a bunch of we've had trouble in the past. First of all, I did remember to use the magnet right at the start to take out a lot of the masks. I remembered that these guys can charge through the rocks and didn't just wait in to get hit by a bunch of them. For the moblins, it really helped that I had a sword beam here, so I was able to hit some of them from a distance. And in general, again, kind of prioritizing defense over offense. I just was swinging my sword a bunch to try to fend off their attacks and focus only really moving when I felt pretty confident that I had an opening. So then for this section, tried to go after the Stalfos first. Especially the throwing ones. Had these guys, and I remembered that switching between links could often help a little bit. They still seem to turn around a bit much for my taste. I don't know if that's the way they're supposed to be taken out. It would probably be a little bit easier if you were doing multiple people, because then you wouldn't have to take the time to switch and then get in position. Both of you could already be moving to kind of be in position and take advantage of the situation. And you can see from the revival cost of 100, that was just the second death there. So things were going pretty well up to this point. Making it through the first two stages with only 2 deaths meant not only can you see I have nearly 5,000 rupees, which is that would be 10 lives even at the maximum 500 per life. But considering I'd only died twice, I was it also meant that I would have even more, because they still have a bunch of the cheaper lives to get through. It was also, I lucked out a little bit here that it gave me 2 of the attack jewels. Did kind of forget about the fire Wizrobe's pattern the first couple attacks here, and then I remembered, oh yeah, don't stand directly in front of him like an idiot. A little bit of difficulty here just because the arrows coming from all sides mean it's kind of tough to really block them, but once I started taking them out, then occasionally I'd miss arrows, but I think now I'm 2 arrows and then opening. Kept on kind of drifting into the airstream there. And here also had a bit of luck that I got a fairy, which made this room much easier. Because of course we have all these Stalfos throwing bones at us, and I was able to fill up my hearts and just use the sword beam to take out quite a few of them, while swinging repeatedly also meant that I was blocking a lot of the bones. So this part actually was much easier just from that alone. And again, I also was not as focused on getting every single last rupee. I wanted them if I could get them, of course, but safety was more important than that. So let's see, we can skip ahead a little bit then. We've done this part before. I was just more careful with throwing and where I went, so that got through without really taking much damage. I used the sword beam on this guy, which also made it nice and easy. Okay, got the cape, still wanted to keep the boomerang. Then kind of had a little bit of a misfortune. Made it back all right. But of course, this is where these guys that throw bones at you appear. And I wanted to use my sword beam to try to take them out, but immediately got hit by a bone and lost the sword beam, so I was looking for hearts. Got a fairy, so that was pretty lucky. And so now I'm all full on hearts, decided to go back and try these guys again, and immediately walked into a bone. So it was actually surprisingly difficult for me to end up taking out those guys, although I was able to manage it before I went down the locked door path. Let's jump ahead a little bit. This room had a little bit of trouble with, but just took some damage, but through constantly swinging my sword, I think I died once here. And then after that, I was able to make it through decently alright. Yeah, just fell off an edge and died. Just jumping ahead a little bit. Decided to play it safe. Instead of crossing the bridge with bones being thrown at me, decided to jump up this way. And Not sure what I was thinking there. I think I hit the wrong button. Oh, I remember what I was thinking. I kept wanting to use the boomerang, and I was forgetting that I had the wrong link equipped. Yeah. And there I was able to take him out. Still had, you can see 6,000, 6,500 rupees. So this is, I believe, the last area before before the finish. So it was actually doing pretty good going into this. So it's much easier with just having an abundance of caution this time around. Still not very good at dodging the bones, but you can see the revival cost was only 200 rupees, so it just died considerably less, and was making all the difference here. Of course, the Stalfos are definitely the more major enemy here, as opposed to the Moblins, because the Moblins can only fire in cardinal directions. You don't have to worry about them on the one side when you're working on the enemies on the other side, whereas the Stalfos will just throw the bones at you anywhere in the room. And then bunch of fire Wizrobes and a ball and chain guy, so similar to the last ball and chain guy we fought, except now I actually find the fire Wizrobes a little bit more irritating than the ice ones. Usually, I think there's just something about the way they throw the fireballs, even though it's just straight ahead of them. It seems like that's much less convenient most of the time. But once the ball and chain guy went down, then it was just a matter of kind of waiting for them to spawn, move out of their path, and go after them. Although having multiples also made it a little bit irritating, because sometimes they wouldn't all spawn in at the same time, and so you let one spawn in, move out of his path, and then another one spawns in, and now you have to move out of both of their paths. So that's, but not too bad. And then you have the rupee fairies that will generously give rupees, but also apparently try to knock you off. I didn't actually fall off here. I assume you would still take damage, and I can't even imagine how frustrating that would be if it were something like down to your last life, taking a lot of damage, and then all of a sudden one of the little rupee fairies knocked you into a pit and killed you or something. But fortunately that didn't happen. Just fall into pits all on my own. Don't need their help. And with that, we finished the second Heroes Trial. Okay, so we do have the third Heroes Trial open. We'll be probably trying that tonight. Next, went on to Talus Cave, and these took a couple attempts. Successful this attempt on Talus Cave, but I had tried a couple times before, mainly because what I was finding is the first time through when we were playing, just getting the silver keys, it was pretty easy to get just 1,000 rupees each level. Just playing through the level, unless you die a lot, you're probably going to get 1,000 rupees at least. Second time through with the 3,000 rupees, we had to search a bit more on the levels that had a lot of rupees and go fast on the levels that didn't have many rupees, but it was still perfectly doable for getting the gold keys. For the third time through with getting these keys, you can't. I think even if you went as fast as possible, you would have a tricky time getting 5,000 rupees. Um, and that would be assuming that you knew the level well enough to get through as fast as you possibly could. I still don't know if it'd be possible. So what I ended up having to do was the same thing I did with the levels last week, was just try to farm enemies, and unfortunately, um, being able to farm enemies is very level dependent. Sometimes you have uh, on this level the Gibdo, the mummy guy, um, was a good um, 50 rupees most of the time, sometimes even 100 rupees, and so um, he was good to farm. But I had some levels where the only enemies that would appear would be Keese and uh, the blobs, and those guys only give 1 rupee or occasionally 5 rupees. So if both of the levels were the ones that didn't have enemies, I'd basically have to just play through the um, I'd have to skip that one and play through again, because I um, didn't think I wanted to try to get 5,000 rupees just 1 rupee at a time. That would be a bit too excessive. Um, uh, see, jumping ahead a little bit, 'cause it's going to be a good while at this level. I think it still took me 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that on this one level. Guess we'll find out. But I would basically just come down to this area where the Gibdos were and just walk around till they spawned, take them out, and repeat. Um, let's see. Oh, sometimes they spawn. Let me jump ahead a little bit. Oh, there we go. So yeah, they also respawned kind of slowly, so that added a bit of time as well. When I got low on hearts, I came up to the area just before the end to refill. Was definitely very conscious of the fact that I had limited amount of ability to refill, so I didn't refill past the max if I could help it. I was able to do that a couple times throughout the fight. And eventually, just kept going until occasionally two would spawn at a time, which is a little irritating because then I'd have to try to dodge both their attacks, and usually I would just decide not to dodge an attack, which turned out to be a bad idea because they do a lot of damage. So right there, a whole heart of damage from one hit. So let's see, jumping ahead. Yeah, 22 minutes in, and we're at 2,300 rupees. Let's see, at this point, I'm low on hearts. I think I've already used up all of the healing and gotten the extra heart container, so it was pretty much just have to deal with it. And my strategy was to just try to get as many rupees as I could until um, until the deaths started basically costing as much as the rupees I was likely to get between them. Um, and the amount of rupees I got between deaths. Well, the first one I didn't die a lot, because I kept going to heal up. But after I died the first time, I started getting more deaths because I lost the sword upgrade there, the two attack crystals. And let's see, where did I end up? So yeah, here I don't have the attack anymore. I'm trying to dodge him, which didn't go too poorly. Okay. Yep. Okay. So yeah, after about 40 minutes, is this where I decide to move on? It's gonna be soon. I think it was here when I died and seeing that the respawn cost would be 300 rupees. Um, I was thinking like, yeah, it's starting to get to the point where I'm less likely to actually get 300 rupees before I die again. So probably move on. Yeah, I'm not even going after those guys because getting an extra 100 rupees isn't worth risking dying. I figured this was the first stage of Talus Cave. Even if the next stage isn't terribly rupee heavy, between this and the boss, I'm likely to get 800 rupees as long as I don't die. So then here's a bunch of fairies that I only needed one of them, didn't need all of them. Wasn't sure what that button did, and then came up here. Okay, probably just reset that thing, if necessary. So this, at first, I thought it a little odd. I didn't have a shield. Um, there wasn't a shield available, and then I noticed the first two, when they attacked me, they went into the pits. So realized, okay, I just have to. They won't attack me across a pit, like if I'm standing on the other side of that pit in the middle. So I have to get them to attack me, and then like overshoot me into a pit, or like that, just fall into a pit at the same time. Um, but I kind of like that. That was an interesting twist on the puzzle, that, or on the enemy, instead of just blocking them constantly like you would normally, have to fight them a little differently. Um, Found a rather surprising number of black rupees here, but wasn't too concerned because as long as there's not a pit or lava or something that you can lose the rupees in, just pick them up afterwards. So yeah, definitely not. Uh, wasn't getting a whole lot of rupees here, um, but I only needed 1,000 total, so. This does seem like it would be a very interesting game to play multiplayer. I expect it would be a very different dynamic when you actually had to communicate and coordinate with someone else instead of just trying to switch between two links on your own. Um, and the having the having four people doing it would be quite interesting. Yeah, Green Link already had bombs, so I wasn't too concerned about trying to pick more up. I was trying to see if I could throw bombs at a diagonal or get close enough to the edge that they would land on the edge there, but that didn't seem to be feasible. Also, Link is not able to walk on just open air. He does need a platform to stand on, apparently. Bunch of times where Moblin bumped into the bomb, but um, it wasn't until then that I was actually able to get him with the explosion. Okay, at this point, I think was when I was feeling a lot more comfortable. 'Cause of course, moving to this level from the first one, I had good reason for doing it because of the health issues, um, and we're going to be starting to lose more rupees than we'd be gaining. But I was also kind of concerned about not actually getting to 5,000. But here, getting to being able to finish the level with about 4,700, I was pretty confident that the with the final boss that I would be able to get like 300 rupees from beating him. Um, the I was familiar enough with the boss that I figured I should be able to get a decent time bonus, plus the rupees that the boss himself drops. So did figure out a little bit of a time save. I think that helped occasionally was after I knock him into the ice. See if I do it this time. Hit him once, twice, and this time I just did 3 times, and he'll jump into the middle. One thing I would do sometimes is hit him once, twice, and then pause. And if you pause just the right amount, then he'll unfreeze. Okay, pause, then go. And I did a little too early there. But if when I time it right, I could get him where he would unfreeze just before I hit him, and then I'd knock him into the ice again without having to go through a whole another cycle. Unfortunately, it didn't seem to work as often with like I'm not sure if it's even possible to do that when he changes stages. Um, but I think here I'm going to do the 1, 2, pause, go, and then got him. And that kind of thing was a little fun to figure out. That it wasn't absolutely necessary in order to beat him, but it was you know something that feels good to figure out and be able to use against him. so red is on top, green is on the bottom. And man, it is very hard to hit those without getting hit, without hitting too much and getting getting electrocuted. Okay, so 2 minutes 31 seconds, got 400 bonus, and managed to make it through. Just barely. Okay. I am the Great Fairy of Ice. I am the guardian of Talus Cave. There is nothing left to be said. I dub you the greatest of heroes and grant you each a hero's key. If all of you gather the hero keys of the great fairies of forest, ice, and flame, a path to Vaati's palace shall open. Onward, great heroes. And interestingly enough, for some reason I had just kind of assumed that all the keys would be green, just as all the previous keys had been gold and all the first keys had been silver. But this key was blue, so they seem to be going. First it was silver, then it was gold. This one I didn't make it through, so I'm gonna skip to the next video, because this is one of the ones that had no strong enemies that were dropping lots of rupees. So okay. So, I had just kind of assumed that the keys would all be the same, but it's kind of interesting so that you might think, okay, if they're going to do elemental keys, that you would start with the elemental keys, and then you would do silver as a more precious metal, and then gold as the most precious one of the three. But instead, they start with silver and then gold, and then it's the elemental keys that are the highest tier. A lot of escorting this little marble thing to the hole. I think a couple of times I'd end up with one in the lava. I'd try to hit it too far and then it would take a bad bounce or something. But whenever I could get it in, it was a nice little boost of rupees. Wasn't really sure what I was gonna do here once I was trying to get the ball to land not on the bridge so I could walk past it and go clear out the rock. But it didn't want to bump that much, so then eventually I just decided, okay, I'll push it and see if I can get it far enough off the bridge that I can okay, then eventually just spawned me on the other side, and okay, now I can get rid of the rocks. Okay. Eventually I decided, okay, we'll have Red Link deal with it. Okay, now we can bump it up here. I'm not sure how bumping into the marble knocks Link back, as much as it moves the marble. Here I did not want to move the rock and launch it because I didn't want it to go into the lava. And all that work to get the ball into place and into the lava, and it doesn't respawn. So, um, fortunately, the door still opens. But it's just you don't get any of the rupees for getting the ball into the hole. I guess the door mechanism is linked to the ball existing and being around, not the ball actually making it into the hole. So. Okay, so let's go back to the start, but now we have a key so we can open this door. And let's skip ahead in a little bit. First I want to show this area where Wizrobes appear. And this was actually a very good occurrence because the Wizrobes are one of the enemies that will drop 50 and 100, the big rupees when you defeat them. And they take a little bit of time to defeat because, one, because if you get hit by fire, then you just start running around semi-uncontrollably. And two, because they keep appearing and disappearing. But they did keep spawning in very frequently. And sometimes it almost got overwhelming because like one or two more would spawn in before I had dealt with the first one. But so in general, this was a good farming spot. Jump ahead a little bit. Okay, going through the maze. I think at this point I was running low on hearts, so I figured I would try doing some more of the level, see if I could get hearts or fairies before coming back to the Wizrobes. Had a good talent for waiting until just the wrong point to go and then going. And all these are lined up well. If you hit them, it's just a little bit nerve-wracking that you have lava right behind you, and with how much you bounce back from hitting the marbles, I always felt like I was going to go into the lava. Okay. Okay, still didn't get any health refill, so decided to try moving on to the next area. And interestingly enough, I saw there was a key to go to the end point, so this second area seems like it's completely optional. Because, of course, you could just, instead of using your key to open this up, you could use your key to go to the last area, or to the end point. Launched it and immediately realized, oh, there's lava over there, so Not supposed to launch it. I think I was a little more cautious with this one. Realizing that, okay, yeah, there's a straight shot there. There's actually a wall behind me, so I don't have to worry about bumping into the lava. And fell into the lava to do it, but did manage to make it in, so still got some rupees out of the deal. I think eventually here do actually find some hearts. Also lose some hearts walking into fire like that. Not the best strategy. And there we go. Alright, so now it was back to hunting Wizrobes now that I had a bit of a fill. Again, the narrow corridors here, being too wide, I could often, you know, stand on one side, get the Wizrobe to attack me over there, and jump to the other side to dodge his fireball like that. But once a second Wizrobe joined, that became a lot harder because sometimes if they weren't synced up, one would, as soon as I walked to one side, the one would spawn over there and make it hard to dodge, or they'd spawn in the middle, which is incredibly hard to dodge. Jumping ahead a bit. Up to 1,900 or 2,000 rupees. I think overall this was a little bit faster than the Gibdos. Okay, my heart's filled up again, so I think at some point I went and went to the end of the stage just to grab the heart container and refill, but not actually end the stage. Okay, you can see I'm fighting two here. Jumping ahead. I'm up to 3,600, so yeah, after 23 minutes, not doing so bad. Okay. Sometimes once that little doorway opened up, sometimes they'd go in there, and that could be tricky, especially if they were right in the middle where I couldn't actually see them until the fireball came out. So I'd try as much as I could to not stand in front of that door, so they wouldn't because they always try to spawn at a cardinal direction of you so that they can hit you with the fireball if you don't move. jump ahead a little bit. And here I've taken a death. You can see I'm missing all my defense and speed bonuses. I don't think I'd ever really appreciated how much of a speed bonus the green crystals give you until I was fighting these guys and died, and then suddenly didn't have the speed bonus. Yeah, they're trying to get me on two different lanes. Losing the speed bonus after fighting these guys for a while, you really notice that it just seems you're very sluggish on on the dodging. And I think at this point I had decided, okay, they're just I'm low on health. I don't have many. I don't want to die and lose rupees. So it's probably best just to end the level and hope that once again I can get, in this case, 800 rupees in 2 levels. Jump ahead a little bit because I'm going to take a little time just clearing out boulders. Don't need to watch all that. Because wanting to, as much as possible, to try to get all the rupees I could. I knew I wasn't going to be breaking any speed records on here, and it was also beneficial in that some of the boulders had the you can see them back up to 2 red and 2 blue crystals. So that was a nice little bonus. I didn't remember this room initially, but then coming down here to this dead end that doesn't actually have anything in it, I seem to recall that we played through this level before. And if I recall, it was a good thing that I spent all the time on the Wizrobes on the first level, because this level does not have a lot of enemies, at least not a lot of powerful enemies. And this is where I learned that these grates, not only can you jump up through these ones, but the normal grates you can't. Like they're low enough they actually prevent you from jumping when you're underneath them. So that's why I fell into the lava there, and that's why I don't just jump across this gap here, because Link, if you try to jump while you're underneath the grate and you're not under one of the spinny grates, Link will just hit his head and fall. But I guess I say that we've played this level before, but it's coming up on a part that I don't remember. The area that's inside where the boulder is here. Which makes me think that these levels, some of the levels, or at least some parts of them, might be generated. Or there might be. Maybe I'm just forgetting. Maybe we have played through it before, and I'm just forgetting it. But it didn't strike me as familiar, and made me think that maybe there's different like modules that can kind of fit together, and maybe the game's able to like randomly build levels somewhat. Not completely, but just like, oh, we have this large box area, what type of puzzle do we put in here? We'll randomly pick from, 5 different puzzles. I did think it was interesting here how we kept getting these these fast-moving traps that the blocks blocking them off kind of move around so that as you progress through this area, you now I'm having to deal with them as I hit these switches. And then now they're the block has opened up, so now I'd have to deal with them all the way down here. Although it takes them long enough that if I just keep on opening up chests, they'll come down and hit me while I'm invulnerable, and don't particularly care. And also far enough away I can just walk through. At this point, you can see I'm already over the 5,000 rupees that we need, so pretty sure now I'll just head to the end. I think the most irritating thing with this boss is just when he splits up into these. Unless I'm missing something, there doesn't seem to be any way of telling which one's the real one until you actually hit them with your sword and find out, okay, this one didn't disappear. Did learn here the important mechanic that little fire ring that he shoots that sets you on fire can be gotten rid of with your sword. So. That doesn't help when you run into him and he manages to set you on fire anyway. Lucked out with a fairy there. Almost there. I think one more time ought to do it. Yep. This also seems like this would be a particularly interesting boss to fight with like 4 people and have the thing bouncing around to all different colors. I wonder if it would go in a sequence or if it would just always randomly choose an additional color. Okay, I am the Great Fairy of Flame, Guardian of Death Mountain. There is nothing left to be said. I dub you the greatest of heroes and grant you each a hero's key. At long last, all of you have gathered the 3 heroes' keys. You should now be able to choose the path to Vaati's palace. It is a path of 12 levels, all more dangerous than those you've seen. Yet onward you must go, great heroes. So 12 levels, that is going to be an ordeal. And I'm not sure when she says more dangerous than any you've seen. does she just mean the normal levels, or is she saying it's worse than the Heroes Trials? Because that would be really something. But okay, so that was a recap of the week, and now we'll get to playing. And I think, so as you can see over on the right, we have all three of the heroes keys. Yeah. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with the heroes trial. We're going to try the third level of this, see how bad it is, and that might take us the rest of the night. With 12 levels of Vaati's Palace, I'm not sure that we'd have time to even try to make it through anyway. So I want to try to beat the heroes trial first to see what it unlocks, because it looks like there's a little unlock next to the sword beam thing, and see if it's something that might help us against Vaati. And I'm also going to want to make sure that we have like a full session to do. Okay, to do Vaati's Palace. I think I'm going to want to give us both capes. Nope. I forgot he was going to follow me, so there we go. Okay. Interesting. I'm trying to think. Presumably that would be something to help you solve it with more people. I'm having a little difficulty trying to imagine how that little mid bridge would help us out. Maybe somebody stand on the mid bridge, and then that would let the person who had been standing on the other switch run across and get down to the mid bridge before the bridge collapses all the way. I don't know. I'm going to try to take my time here because our goal is just to beat the stage. We don't need a particular number of rupees, although the rupees will help us have more continues. And I have not played through this one, so I don't know how this challenge stage is going to go. I am seeing it for the very first time, just like you are, unless you are somebody who has actually played through this game before, in which case you have seen something I have not, I guess. Okay. I thought I could do a little cheeky diagonal jump. Instead, Link's just going to dive across the whole thing. Okay, so that looks like something we're going to have to move from the other side. Okay, no, I don't want to come this way. I want to go this way. Haven't seen any enemies yet, which is rather nice. Can I make it over there? Okay, I think that's what I'm supposed to do. Jump over here. I think if you do it right, you can do some diagonals, but it seems like it's set up that you don't have to. And since I'm trying to play it safe, I'm gonna not do it. This is saying that I think the scimitars mean this is gonna be a fighting arena, so let's clear out a spot to fight first. No jewels have dropped yet. That's kind of interesting. Also, I just realized the Heroes Trials have... I think the first stage was kind of forest themed. Second stage was definitely ice themed, and then this stage is fire themed. So it's going in the same way that the it's going the same way that the main stages were. Also, one thing that's unfortunate. One thing I noticed is the 3 keys that we got, the being the colors they are, the green, blue, and red. It's not only the elemental colors for the 3 areas, that's also the colors of the rupees we've been collecting. And kind of going in the same order, too, because it seems the order was the forest area, the ice area, and the fire area. And, of course, green rupees are worth 1, blue rupees are worth 5, and red rupees are 20? Yeah. So, it fits with the elements that we've seen in other Zelda games, but it also fits with the rupees as well, that are, one of the... I think that's significant not only because it's similar, but also because in this game in particular, the rupees are our main goal. Oh, that's right, I have a cape. Oh boy. Okay. Link, stay out of the hole. Just kill that guy. Okay. Okay, made it through all the Stalfos just to die to a pit. That's... I need to be this Link anyway, because he's the one with the key. Okay, we're back to the beginning. But now there's a platform. Okay, did not mean to do that. What I'll probably do is if I don't manage to beat it, oh, now I need to jump. If I don't manage to beat it tonight, I'll probably just do it off stream again. Just because I don't want to spend too much time on it. And again, with Vaati's Palace being 12 levels this time, I think we're definitely going to need a whole, at least one whole stream to do it. I'm hoping it'll even be accomplishable in one stream. Oh no. Oh. Can't turn around with those. I should have gone with this so I could have thrown it sideways. Okay. Okay, couldn't get enough of a diagonal there. I think it wants me to not walk into the lava. Oh, I can just go over here. Actually be easier to just do this than to try to jump back. I'm a little reluctant to try jumping back without a without something to run into because one gap jumps are fine. The jumps like that are kind of at the extreme ends of Link's range are fine. But the shorter jumps are actually very tricky to not overshoot. Interesting. I'm interested to see all these bridges, presumably to help you get back, and yet the whole level seems based around the idea of everybody having the capes anyway. Like I'm not even sure how you would get to the end of that bridge if you didn't have a cape. Okay. Okay, now don't want to go that way. That's... Fortunately, I guess if I pass over land, then it will put me there when I fall in. That is actually rather helpful. Didn't jump early enough there. Yeah. I guess I don't know. Maybe if you're doing multiplayer, maybe there would be some additional things, like someone would have to go hit another switch or something. Okay, don't like this. Okay, this link doesn't have a key, so... Oh, wait a second. These might be pushable blocks. Aha. So we're probably going to get to the end, hit a switch, and then have to fight our way back, is what I'm thinking. Yep. Oh. Hopefully I've got some healing here. Okay. Yes, good. Healing, and if any blue or red crystals want to drop, that would also be rather appreciated. Oh. Okay, not sure why I walked directly into the hole. There was a time where I would have thought I'd have a little bit more invincibility there. Okay. Whoa! Hey! You're not supposed to come at me when I'm still picking up blue rupees. Cheaters. Okay, got one of the whiz robes, that's good. I got ball and chain guy, that's even better. Okay, other whiz. Was someone else going to attack me while I'm picking up these rupees? Man, you've already shown that you guys don't respect the system at all. Okay, this will be interesting. 'Cause remember, I can't. I mean, there's a wall there anyway, but I can't jump. I can jump, but I can't like jump over pits and things, and I can't. I'm trying to hit the button, and I can't float while I'm underneath there. So, okay, let's see what's. Well, we have a wall to our back, so let's just let the enemies come to us. Okay, good. Okay, gonna have to do something to move that block to be able to get to that switch. Okay. Okay, so we just need a key to be able to get to the end. All right. So let's see, we're gonna come through this way. There's another switch there. Okay. It seems like we still have a few more steps to this problem. Okay, but first step. Okay, the fire will sometimes drop hearts and fairies and goodies like that, but it doesn't seem to do so as often as the bushes do. Maybe I'm just imagining that, but it seems like the fire's being less frequent about that. Okay, so we can now go that way. Nope, need to go down this way. I do kind of like some of the level designs here, how they kind of loop up. You know, some of the puzzles you kind of loop over. You have to visit the same area more than. Oh, managed to time that just. You have to travel to the same area more than once, but like the first time you visit. Okay. Okay. So. Okay. Now we can get that way. The first time you visit, you can't. You can't get through here because you don't have a particular item, or the switches aren't set a certain way, and then you have to come back when you can. When you can get that switch, or when you do have the right item, and it lets you go on a new path. Wow, I did not get much distance there. And there jumped right into a... Oh boy, that looks fun. I'm not being entirely truthful there. It really doesn't look all that fun at all. Hmm. There's a whole nother area over there. Looks like there's at least chests that we haven't seen yet. Okay, I'm expecting that we'll die at least one more time, but and I wasn't wrong. I have to say I think these Stalfos are probably some of the most irritating enemies in the game, even if not absolutely so. Specifically the bone-throwing Stalfos. Okay, well, I see a chest over here we can get to now. The rupee shard, great. Oh. I don't see how we'd even get to that chest. This thing hasn't moved. These blocks haven't moved. Thought I hit all the switches. And I'm not sure how we get to those other chests unless there's not a way on from here. So I think what I'm going to do is just move on, not worry about it. This is primarily a scouting mission to see how the it's going. The game is actually being rather generous with the rupee shards for once. It's interesting. Okay, we don't need that many green crystals. Okay, I thought it was going to be a little shorter than that. I don't like that there's all these areas where enemies are probably going to spawn once we get to the center and have to work our way back out. Oh no, a blob! Or Zol, or Gel, or Bot, whatever. Interesting. So we got a key. There's a lot of key doors around the outside, so I'm assuming that we'll be back through here multiple times. Start with this one, just because why not? Okay, that's the end there, so we're gonna have to do a bunch of stuff to remove the fire, and then that will trigger the end, or allow us to get to the end. Okay. Oh, I don't have my jump anymore. Okay. That didn't seem too bad. Just had to find the right thing. Can't seem to move whatever that is. Okay, more green crystals. You know, the game, it really doesn't help me after the first two. unless I died along the way and lost them. But until that happens, I'd really prefer the, if you could give me, like, some blue ones or red ones. Okay, so now we've got a boomerang, and let's see what's going on in here now. Okay, just gave us a key. So I guess each time we jump back down, we'll have a few enemies and it'll give us a key. Okay, that's my guess as to what's going to happen here. I'm going to work my way counterclockwise. Just because I saw this area before and I'm kind of curious about it. Okay. I'm on fire. Okay, that's a lava thing we can fall into. Okay, lots of so before we had like the okay, no, here's the Wizrobes. They are still planning on trying to overwhelm us with tough enemies. Just now, instead of it being a bunch of Wizrobes and okay, wow. I thought he was off the thing. Okay. These guys become a lot more of a nuisance when they stop me from running away from the Wizrobe and the fire guy. Wow, that was quite brutal. Oh. Ah. Oh. Okay, no, don't want to grab that one. Ah. Had a fairy that would have let me hit these guys with a sword beam and then immediately just threw it away. Oh well. Wow, the bones knocking me into lava is not helpful. Look, dude, use your mace thing already so that I can stop having to dodge it. Maybe he can't while he's in there. Maybe that's the point, is that it's just a constant thing. There we go. Link, stop getting knocked into lava constantly. It's the exact opposite of what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, I'm assuming we're going to need bombs, so let's use them to blast open suspicious walls. Okay. Probably not going to last too much longer because I keep on thinking these things are going to be shorter than they actually are. I need to go into the middle to actually grab the key first. So probably going to die soon. And I forget what we're up to, but unless we get a lot more rupees, I don't think we're going to be able to survive 2 more deaths. So, and once I'm done, that'll probably be it for the night. But like I said, I'll see about doing it over during the weeks that we can. Oh, oh my. Boomerang does not put out fires. Good to know. I'm not really sure what that got me other than a boomerang, but I guess presumably we'll be able to get another key in the middle here. So, okay. As much as I like the boomerang, we haven't used the bombs yet. And I think the cape might be necessary for this part. Okay, that was rather bad. So in case it's not clear, when I get set on fire, basically what happens is I can still move around sort of, but I'm always like I'm constantly moving. I can't stop going high speed and unable to like use a sword or weapon or anything. Um, so it can be very difficult to control. Okay. Yeah, this will be our... If we die again, that's it. the other hand, we seem to only have one more room. Maybe. Oh, sure. Now we get a attack crystal. Okay, more of the fire guys. Kind of hoping for a fairy there or something. Yeah, see, I can kind of control my direction, but I can't stop moving. Well, I thought I knocked that Stelfo into a... Guys, that signify that we passed this trial? Maybe a fairy in one of these? Or at least a heart? No, okay. So want to be very careful. Okay, nope, there's still one more block we have to hit there. So this is probably where our game ends. Yep. Okay. Okay, wow, that is kind of tricky. Doesn't seem impossible. Just knowing what's ahead is going to be very helpful, and just taking my time, kind of being a little more patient fighting some of the enemies. So, but like I said, I think I'll do that during the week. Let's see. I will next week. I'll try doing this trial during the week so we can have a little bit of a video recap for it. Maybe go through a little quick, and then we'll try the final Vaati's Palace stage. See how long that's going to take. 12 levels sounds like it's going to take a long time, but I don't know. Maybe there'll be some checkpoints or something. We'll just have to find out. If it seems like I don't mind going a little bit long, but if it seems like it's going to be 4 hours just to get through, then I'll probably have to end up doing that off stream and just do like kind of a little highlight reel or something. But we'll find out when we try it next week. So with that, thank you for coming. Hope you have a good week, and see you next time.